You're lying next to them right now. Same bed. Same house. Maybe even the same soft Christmas lights flickering in the corner. And somehow, you feel completely alone. You sat 3 feet apart on the couch last night, both scrolling, both exhausted, and you didn't say a single thing that really mattered. Not because you're fighting. Not because you don't love each other. Just because you were both too tired to try. You keep telling yourself, it's just this week. It's just this season. It will slow down. But underneath that, another sentence keeps whispering, what if this is just who we've become? You see matching pajama photos and Christmas market dates on your feed and feel that mix of envy and quiet shame. You think, we don't do that. Are we off? Is this just what long-term love looks like now? You keep the house running, get through the list, stay fine in front of everyone else. But some honest part of you notices, we're sharing a life. And losing our us at the same time. There's the Christmas everyone expects you to live in, sparkling, connected, magical, and then there's the one you actually live in, work deadlines that don't care what month it is, kids who still need to be fed and soothed, complicated family dynamics, stretched budgets, empty chairs at the table that still hurt to look at. Your nights blur into dishes, wrapping, coordinating, collapsing in front of a screen. And your nervous system, which doesn't care about aesthetics or holiday pressure, quietly logs a different truth. We're doing a lot together, but I don't feel together with you. If any of this feels uncomfortably familiar, this video is for you. You are not crazy for wanting more than logistics and teamwork. You are not selfish for wanting something warmer than we got everything done. That ache you feel when they walk past you without really seeing you is not weakness. That ache is a signal, I miss us. In the next few minutes, you're going to learn a 4-step, forward reset, a 4 and reset, designed for tired, busy couples like you, so you can interrupt distance in under a minute and quietly build real connection into nights that are already full. Before we walk through it, you need to see why this distance shows up. Even when you still deeply love the person lying next to you. There's a quiet lie a lot of couples live under, especially around the holidays. It says, busy is normal, connection can wait. And if you really loved each other, closeness would just happen. That lie hides in hustle culture. It hides in curated Christmas content. It hides in the voice that says, just get through this week. And then you can breathe. The problem is, your relationship doesn't run on productivity. It runs on presence. And presence is exactly what gets sacrificed first when everything feels urgent. So let's strip away the fantasy. Closeness is not a test you pass by being romantic enough, organized enough, or always in the mood. Closeness is that felt sense that you and your partner are on the same side, even when life is loud and messy. It's not the big trips or the perfect Christmas Eve that predict how connected you feel. Research on couples keeps pointing to something much smaller, micro moments. Those tiny signals where one person reaches out and the other turns toward instead of away. A glance. A question. A touch. A shared joke that only the two of you get. Those are the real building blocks. But when your nervous system is stretched thin, those building blocks get pushed to the bottom of the pile. Your brain quietly flips into survival mode. Instead of asking, how can we feel close? It starts asking, what has to get done so nothing falls apart? That shift doesn't mean you don't care. It means your alarm system is prioritizing function over feeling. And if both of you are in that state, even small misfires can feel much bigger than they really are. There are certain patterns that show up when your connection is hungry, even when your love is still strong. As you listen, notice which one lands hardest for you, because naming your pattern is the first step to changing it. The first pattern is the transactionalist night. You walk through the door or finally sit down, and your whole interaction becomes a chain of updates and tasks. Did you order the gifts? What time are we at your parents'? Can you do pickup tomorrow? It looks like you're talking a lot. Underneath, almost nothing is being said about how you actually are. You can reach the end of the evening and realize you know what your partner did, but not how they felt. Your body registers that gap as loneliness, even if your mouth never says the word. The second pattern is parallel scrolling. Same couch, same room, maybe even knees touching, but each of you is lost in your own screen. You might show a meme, a video, something that made you think of them and get a distracted "ha" in return. Over time, those tiny mish-turns teach your nervous system, when I reach out, nothing special happens. There's no big blow-up. You just stop reaching. If you recognize yourself in either of these first two patterns, pause for a second. Place a hand on your chest and take one slow breath. You are not broken. You are noticing. The third pattern is micro-irritation. Suddenly the way they load the dishwasher, the route they drive, how long they talk to their family, the way they stack gifts, everything feels personal. Small differences feel like proof that they don't get you or don't support you. Underneath the snappiness, there is often a truer sentence trying to get out. I don't feel backed up. Or, I'm carrying more than I can hold and I don't know how to say it without starting a fight. When that deeper sentence stays unspoken, your body vents it sideways through sarcasm, sharp comments, or cold quiet. The fourth pattern, and the one most couples underestimate, is emotional mismatch at night. One of you finally hits the emotional crash after a long day and reaches for connection right when the other person's system has shut down. You roll toward them, wanting softness, and they respond with half-asleep grunts or quick advice. Both realities are valid, one person's need for comfort, the other person's need for rest. But without any language around this, your body quietly codes the moment as, I reached, and got rejected. Your brain files away, it's safer not to ask. The fifth pattern is quiet resentment. It sounds like, I do more. They're checked out. If I stop trying, this whole thing would fall apart. On the outside, you might still be kind, still be functional, still look fine in photos. Inside, you're keeping score. Resentment is often grief and overload in disguise. It rarely means love is gone. It usually means your need for support and recognition has gone too long without a voice. If any of these patterns hit home, your first reflex Might be to blame yourself, blame them, or sink into. I guess this is just how it is now. Instead, try a different interpretation. These patterns are not proof that we've failed. They're proof that our connection is underfed. You're seeing hunger, not hopelessness. That one shift matters, because it moves the story. From we're broken to we're overloaded, and we can learn new moves. Underneath all of this, your nervous system is doing exactly what it was designed to do. When stress climbs, deadlines, kids, travel, money, grief, your internal alarms turn up. The parts of your brain that help you connect, play, and be curious get less of the resources. The parts that scan for problems and keep the plate spinning get more. So even though your partner could be a source of comfort, on bad days your body might quietly start reading them as one more demand you don't have energy for. Old stories can get triggered around this time of year too. The way your family did holidays. The role you had to play. The times you felt left out, or responsible for keeping everyone else okay. Those memories live in your nervous system, not just in your mind. In December, they can wake up without asking your permission. You're not just reacting to tonight. You're reacting to echoes. And your partner has their own echoes running alongside yours. Two histories, two tired bodies, one shared season. Here's the part almost nobody explains: a lot of the behaviors you're judging in yourself or in your partner are not laziness or indifference. They're protection. Scrolling is your brain trying to downshift. Overplanning the schedule is anxiety looking for something it can control. Avoiding deeper talks is your system saying, I genuinely cannot handle more emotional intensity right now. None of that means you don't care about each other. It means your bodies have been choosing survival over depth. When you start to see this, the enemy changes. It stops being you versus me and becomes us versus overload. Us versus a culture that worships busy and treats connection as optional. Studies of long-term couples keep finding the same pattern. It's not the absence of conflict that predicts closeness, it's how you repair after you miss each other, and how often you turn towards small bids instead of away. You don't need a different personality or a totally different life to feel closer. This Christmas, you need a simple, repeatable way to weave connection into what you already have. That's where the 4 and reset comes in. It's a 4-step, forward ritual: notice, name, nest, nurture, built for nights like the ones you're living. It doesn't ask you for an hour. It doesn't ask you to become suddenly romantic when you're half asleep. It gives you a way to come back to each other in a few intentional minutes, without adding another giant should to your list. Step 1 is notice the signal. The signal is that tiny ache. The flicker in your chest when you realize, we've barely really seen each other today, or we're in the same room, but I feel alone. In the past, you might have pushed that down, or turned it into a sharp story: they don't care enough, or we're failing. With the 4 and reset, you treat it like an important notification instead of a verdict. When you catch it, pause. Place a hand on your chest or your stomach. Take one slow breath in and out. Then, just inside your own mind, you quietly name it for what it is. This is connection hunger, not proof that we're broken. That One breath stops you from going straight into blame or shutdown. It tells your nervous system, this feeling matters, and we're going to respond on purpose. Step 2 is name it gently. This is where you translate your inner experience into simple words your partner can actually receive, even if they're tired. The goal here isn't a long speech. It's to crack the door open. Instead of, "You never pay attention to me," you try a softer, truer line like, "Hey, I've been feeling a little far from you today. I miss us." Or, "Nothing's wrong between us, but I can feel myself going into robot mode. Can we have a tiny moment together tonight?" One of the most powerful four-word sentences you can use is, "I miss you tonight." It's honest. It's vulnerable. It invites closeness instead of provoking defense. Step 3 is nest a micro-ritual. A nest is a small, protected pocket of time, a soft little place you both agree to land, even when you're tired. Think 5 minutes. Not 50. You decide together where it fits, maybe after the kids are finally down, maybe right before sleep, maybe during a late-night tea in a quiet kitchen. You say something like, "Could we try a 5-minute no-phone check-in before we fall asleep this week?" Then you give that nest a simple structure so you're not left staring at each other thinking, "Okay, now what?" One option is a two-question nest. For those 5 minutes, both phones go face down. You sit or lie, however is comfortable, and each of you answers 2 questions. What felt heavy for you today? And what's one small thing you appreciated about us? You don't fix each other. You don't debate. You just listen and then switch. 2 honest answers, 2 directions. Another option, if talking feels like too much, is a quiet nest. You lie back to back or face to face, one hand resting on each other's arm or back, and you breathe together in silence for 2 minutes until you both feel your bodies drop just one notch in tension. The point is not the format. The point is that your nervous systems get a tiny, predictable island each night where you are not just co-managers, you are us again. Step 4 is nurture with repair and repetition. This is where most couples quietly give up, and where you choose something different. You will miss nights. Someone will fall asleep halfway through a sentence. You will snap at each other about nothing. Without a frame, those moments turn into, "We can't even do 5 minutes." And the experiment dies. With the 4 and reset, the miss is built into the practice. Nurture means you keep coming back. It sounds like, "Hey, we skipped our little nest last night. I was wrecked. You still matter. Can we try again tonight?" Or, "I was sharp with you about the schedule earlier. I'm stressed, but I don't want to take that out on you. Can we reset?" Every time you choose a small repair over self-attack or blame, you are teaching both nervous systems, even when we miss each other, we know how to find our way back. If some part of you is already thinking, "We don't have time for this," remember, your relationship is already costing you time and energy. The question is whether it quietly drains you in silence or gently feeds you on purpose. You're not adding a new burden. You're trading 30 aimless minutes of parallel scrolling for 5 minutes of intentional togetherness that actually refuels you. So here's what to do next. Sometime in the next 24 hours, Run a tiny, real-life test of the 4 and reset. It doesn't have to be perfect. Tonight, when you're both finally in bed, or on the couch, or at the table, try this sequence once. Notice when that little ache of distance flickers. Don't argue with it. Put a hand on your chest and take one slow breath. Name, turn slightly toward them and say 4 words, "I miss you tonight." Then add one gentle line, like, "Could we have a tiny moment just for us?" Next, suggest a 5-minute pocket. Phones down. Ask each other, what felt heavy for you today, and what's one small thing you appreciated about us? Or, if words feel like too much, just lie close and breathe together for 2 quiet minutes. Nurture, if it feels awkward, if one of you is more tired, if it doesn't look like a movie, that's okay. At the end, or the next day, you can say, "Thank you for trying that with me. You matter to me. I'd like to try again tomorrow." That sentence is the nurturing part. That's what turns one moment into a new pattern. If you're ready to stop sleepwalking through Christmas nights and start feeling each other again, even in tiny ways, claim it out loud. You don't have to share details, but you can type one simple line in the comments like, "We're trying the 4 and reset this week," or "I'm choosing small moments over perfect holidays." Even that small act can anchor your intention. And if you want more tools like this, micro-rituals, nervous system-safe phrases, simple scripts you can actually use when you're exhausted, make sure you subscribe to Connect with Care and turn on notifications. This video is part of a full season on staying close when life is loud. In the next episode, you'll get a bedtime script that helps couples go from parallel scrolling to real conversation in under 3 minutes, without starting a fight or opening more than you're ready for. If that sounds like something your relationship needs, you'll want to be there when it drops. You are not behind because your Christmas doesn't look like a commercial. You are not failing because you're tired. You are a human with a nervous system that has been carrying a lot. Still brave enough to say, "I don't just want to survive this season with you. I want to feel you again." That longing is not something to be ashamed of. It is the most honest part of you. Tonight, when the lights are finally off and the house is finally quiet, try one last simple move. Put your phone on the nightstand, face down. Turn your body at least slightly toward them. Take one slow breath. Let your eyes rest on their face for 5 quiet seconds. And then ask 4 words, "How's your heart, really?" You don't have to fix their answer. You don't have to turn it into a heavy talk. Just listen, even for a minute. That's where you begin to come back to each other, not in grand gestures, but in these small, repeated acts of presence. Christmas nights and tired hearts can still hold real warmth. One question, one breath, one 5-minute